Hello, my name is Daniel McKinley, and I am the designer and creator of the card game Driving Me Crazy. And in this video, I would like to show you how it plays and what it's all about. So in Driving Me Crazy, players are playing as race car driving fans, except they're tired of the same old sport of seeing who can make it across the finish line first. So they decide to invent a brand new sport, where they blindfold all of the drivers and they see, can they all make it across the finish line? In this game, players are going to be playing cooperatively, laying down tracks in order to get these 4 race cars from their start point to their finish line. So in this game, you can see it set up. We have the 4 start lines cards, 8 legs, and the finish lines right over here on the side. A game is very simple. You have a number of cards in your hand, and on your turn, you play a card from your hand, one of the track pieces, and draw a card. So, for example, if I were to play this right here for yellow, the yellow player would move it as far as they can on the track. At the very beginning, you choose either side, and you get it. You continue from there. The next player might play another card like one of these and decide to send the green car forward. Then it becomes the next player's turn. As the next player, I might be trying to deal with the red, sending him forward, and the yellow forward. And finally, the blue player might want to play a card like this. This is a roundabout, and it's one of the 4 special cards that are in the game. Roundabouts will let you enter and exit in any direction. So I might play it here and bring it forward. I've just completed 1 leg of the journey of the 8 needed to finish the game. Now there are actually 54 modes of difficulty, which I'll go into more details later on. But as the game is progressing, it's going to get harder and harder to deal with the different tracks that have been laid down. Players are not allowed to tell each other what they have in their hand, but they are allowed to say, hey, if you send me yellow, I can deal with both yellow and green. Since players are taking turns in order, they will be using these cards, and as their hand gets slowly worse and worse, having to deal with some more difficult cards, then the game ramps up in difficulty. However, if the players succeed in getting all 4 race cars from across the start line all the way to the finish line, they have won cooperatively. Now let's talk about the differences in difficulty. This is the easiest mode. There is a lot of different ways you can change difficulty. The first being, on the other side of the finish and the start lines, there are colored finish and start lines. To make it a little more difficult, players would take the colored start and finish lines and lay them across in a straight line, meaning in order to win, the yellow car would have to go a straight line to the yellow finish line, like so. There is another way to make it hard difficulty where you mix these up and they are in a random start and a random finish order. So even though they're right across the line, it might not be so easy getting blue from up here down to this far corner. Oh, by the way, did I say that if any time players leave the track of either of these 4 columns, then all players lose? Also, if 2 cars collide, all players lose. And finally, if a car returns back to the starting line, like so, then once again all players lose, because the goal is to get all the players across the finish line. That's the first level of difficulty. The next level of difficulty is how many cards you have in your hand. Easy is 5 cards, because there's 4 copies of each of the 12 cards in the game. Medium is 4 cards in your hand, meaning it might be possible that you get all 4 bad cards of the same one that are hard to deal with. And finally, hard mode is 3 cards in your hand. And finally, the last one, we have the tracks here. there is actually a total of 12 distance markers. There's only 48 track cards that you can play. So, if you're playing in easy mode like this, you only have to play 32 of the cards, which makes it pretty easy to mitigate. However, if you're playing on medium difficulty, which means you play up to 12 legs, it gets a bit harder. You start running out of cards. And finally, hard mode, which is all 12, means you have to play every card in the game. Players are allowed to mix and match difficulties. For a good starting game and a good challenge, I like to start at random start and finish lines, 4 cards in your hand, which would be medium difficulty, and only 8 legs, which would be easy. So it gives a good balance. And finally, there's one more module I want to show you, and that's on the back of these leg cards. You'll put the 12 at the end, and the 1 at the beginning, and the rest you can mix and match. Why would this matter? That's because on the back side, these have pre-populated spaces. So if I were playing a game like this, and it shows this, like so, then at the beginning of the game, before any track tiles are laid, those are automatically going to be pre-populated. So the third card here in this column, the first card in this column, both the second and third in this column, and finally the first in this column. Gives players a little bit more replayability and a lot of fun time in a cooperative game that's unlike just about any. So I hope you found this interesting. Driving Me Crazy is available right now on the Game Crafter, and you can search by either searching Driving Me Crazy, the title, or Daniel McKinley Games. Both should bring you to the spot. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you check out the game Driving Me Crazy. Thanks.